which will be moderated by us here for the sake of this engagement. So once again, Senator, you're welcome to London. It's a pleasure to have you here. Now, I stand on existing protocol, meaning that we need to do short prayer. And the short prayer basically is about God bless this gathering and this interaction in it. And we're all Nigerians, so we got our pledge. But I didn't want to take too much time because we are already on this. So what I will do is basically have a short conversation with him. And then after that short conversation, then we have various questions. So we're going to skip to the time being everybody's schedule. This week has been very, very busy with everybody in London and United Kingdom due to quite a lot of events. So I will more or less welcome Senator. He's a Nigerian and he's running as a vice presidential candidate of one of the political parties in Nigeria, the Labour Party. He is from the northern part of the country because it's very important for people to identify two major things in Nigeria. One is religion and the region. So he's from the northern part of Nigeria and he is Muslim. While the presidential candidate is from the south and he is Christian, basically balancing the equation. One thing that's very key in the Nigerian system is that when somebody from one side has governed, even within the local government, within the state, they'll always try to systematically rotate the structure and the governance and leadership. So once again, as I said, it's our pleasure to have him for the sake of having a short interaction with him. Senator, you're welcome. Your mic will be absolutely in your hand, and then we make sure that we keep to the record. Welcome.
My pleasure.
Now, you can all hear him, right?
Yep.
Yes. The first question really that is there, that has been trending from people, is who you are. But rather than asking who are you, I would say, based on the record around the country and globally, why do you think the presidential candidate actually picked you to be his running mate?
Congruency with his own personal qualities, I would like to say. Secondly, maybe my own personal qualities. Third, maybe what I would say my modest achievements. He might have, in his own wisdom, seen somebody that would compliment him in office. And somebody that would add value in the value chain of complex leadership that is needed to turn Nigeria around to stability and prosperity. These are the reasons I can advance for now.
Very well. You have shared something unique and the reason why you believe you are being picked and selected by the presidential candidate. In your own opinion, do you think you deserve to be the vice president of Nigeria?
Very interesting questions. But then allow me to go down. The questions are used to every sense of modesty and shyness. If you recall, it is on record that I did contest Yes, I am.
Very good. It's answering the question as a candidate who wants to be there. Mine is to observe and dig deep to ask him the questions that Nigerians have been asking. One of the key questions that is trending as well, because I'm picking this out from those that are trending or as those that makes us independent in this field, is that education is very important to you, because coming from the northern part of Nigeria, education is seen as different being rather than as other people may perceive it to be. But you are well known as a seasoned educationist, somebody who works in the industry. Why did you decide to pick that field initially based on your standing now in Nigeria?
Character. First of all, family legacy. What was bequeathed to the entire family by our late dad of President General, the service to humanity, education. That's what we practically inherited. Not businessmen, not industrialists, not so much into commerce, public service, and community service. So it was easy to branch into education. Second reason is character. The same reason you find me in politics. The same reason I found myself in the world of education. I have courage. And I found myself along the way complaining about the appalling quality of education. If that is the case, then why don't I do something about it? Way back in '96, when I was graduating from MBA Academy, I began to realize that respiratory science, Indian education to other countries. Lastly is opportunity. When it was time to reinvent myself after leaving the parliament, I used to think that, wherever you have problems, lie the opportunities. When we go deeper into our discussion, that's the ironic beauty of being a Nigerian at this point in time. So I saw opportunity in bringing up the quality of education. That's why the three reasons I went into it: family legacy, personal character, opportunity.
Nigeria definitely deserves quite a lot of big opportunities as a major player on the African continent. Looking into this opportunity that has come out from you independently and privately, how do you see the nation as Nigeria being able to offer the world opportunities, but starting with Nigerians who are yearning for something new?
We first have to believe in ourselves. Development stage where money is spent. The biggest problem we have now, economically speaking, in Nigeria, is that we're spending our money outside. As simple as it is, this is a huge, it's as bad as corruption. Why don't we believe in ourselves? We have to answer that. In the best universities and the best hospitals, all over Europe, Canada, and the United States, you have like more literature. But why is it that these best professionals we have cannot operate in Nigeria? We tend to say there's power, there's insecurity, a host of reasons. But I dare put the extra step to say that we need to. I'll go the extra mile to tell you, we need to believe in ourselves. We can provide that quality of education, healthcare, tourism, the travel, the money in Nigeria. When all that wealth is trapped in Nigeria and is not sent out, we really big favor to the Naira to stop falling, to start appreciating. We're doing a big favor to employment, to skills, a big favor to the government finances. So I repeat, development stays where money is spent, and development will always evade where money doesn't stay.
If development based on money coming into Nigeria is very, very important to the development of Nigeria. Out of the context, you have been known to talk about the issues of security. But as you share those issues on security, there's a hidden reception from you not sharing widely what you believe should be the point or the policy to end insecurity in Nigeria. Do you have a reason why you don't want to share the policy idea and concept to skill the Nigerian people?
You probably listened to my interview at, I think, Channels, and if they were fair to me, they should have played the extra 90 seconds after that. I did speak about security. I didn't refuse to speak about security. I expressed my frustration about people who speak without doing nothing. I referred us to 2014-15 and the efforts to dislodge the then Jonathan government and install the now Buhari government. I expressed my frustration on that. I also expressed my frustration about politicians being known for talkers and not doers. Then I presented my resentment to being classified as one of those, because I know when I speak, I will do. Obi speaks, he will do. Go and verify. We have spoken. In all fairness, I never withheld any information. And you in the media should be self-correcting. Those who attacked me, they simply took 90 minutes away, 90 seconds away. Now listen, when the first Gulf War was just starting, the very first victim was not an Iraqi soldier. It was an American marshal, general, 3-star general. The then chief of U.S. Air Staff was the very first victim when he says that, when he disclosed that their aim was to attack Baghdad, neutralize Saddam, install a new government. And George Bush Sr. says, thank you for your service, because he was supposed to disclose that. Politicians can be reckless, politicians can be clueless, politicians are also civilians, with due respect to civilians. I have always been preaching that be responsible in professional matters. Security is a professional matter. Each time they ask questions, whoever is answering should be conscious that at that point in time, there are Nigerian troops at the front line. I don't want to say anything that will jeopardize their safety. This happened way back in 2014 and 15 that made me think, how did these guys know so much about what is going on? And then because of how these questions are supposed to be answered, you get more questions, following more questions, raising more questions to be answered. And these are getting scarier by the day. So the best thing is for Nigerian politicians to become more responsible. I also answered very simple things tied to our political philosophy. We will prevent waste,
classify Mr. Peter Obi as representing just one region, one religion. Simply forgetting that it's a joint ticket between two people, which you make the second half and the other part of the ticket. Would you agree or disagree that when people classify it to be a southern ticket, it is correct, or a religious ticket, it is correct?
I would say everything is in place. His Excellency Peter Obi is a Nigerian. Simple. I am a Nigerian. Simple. And I've been paying a high price for wanting to become a Nigerian. Some people went to say that I said I didn't want to become a Muslim, which is extremely unfair. They knew what they were heading at when they said that. And I never said anything like that. But I didn't want to become a Muslim. Never said anything like that. We are simple Nigerians. We may come from different places and practice different faiths. And it's not faiths really. We practice differently because we both believe in the same one almighty God. Yeah. So all of that is misplaced. All of that is misplaced. I beg to disagree. Thank you.
Finally, from my side, before quickly asking your executive from different groups to make their own or stand up to ask one or two questions, is to say the other political parties, because the idea of the law is that there are 4 or 5 major political parties that can make any impact. Technically, you have 18 political parties in the country, but we have to go with those who are actually seen here. And the top, we have top 3 that are there. You are in the midst of the 5 or in the midst of the 3? 3. Based on your understanding, because other political parties, they will say they are there, making the 18. They are political parties. But come 2023 or in the next coming days, officially, the campaign is going to start. What is so unique that you feel that other people, you can look at them and say, they haven't got a chance, but that's it, Peter Obi, or Peter Obi, that's it, is the team to look out for?
None of those parties, I beg to say, none of them has a Peter Obi. Let me start from that bottom. None of them has a governor who was motivated by systemic failures to leave his businesses, successful businesses, and contest governorship. In the process of doing that, redefining Nigerian politics. None of those political parties has a Peter Obi. He served for 8 years against all odds and has lived for 8 prosperous years afterwards to now that we have taken the place to be a presidential candidate. He is not in the FCC. He is not in any kind of controversy whatsoever. He is flourishing, businesses are doing well. None of the political parties are able to do that. The most precarious position to hold in Nigeria is that of the government. He held it because of Peter Obi, who went all the way to Supreme Court. For 3 years, he challenged a very simple, unassuming businessman, but a fighter for the cause of justice. No other political party has such a character like Peter Obi. Impeached, he went to work, he came back. All the things that have entered and reshaped Nigerian politics, one individual is Peter Obi. If I may find it necessary to form a name of political party, it was allowed. You see, the party in power today, I feel sorry for anybody who thinks things that, you know, we have a chance in this world. The fact that Nigerians are impoverished doesn't mean they're stupid. I mean, how can you look at Nigeria whose security has depreciated so much, whose livelihood destroyed, unity devastated, and tell them that the same government, the same people who are responsible for that they have to continue. To make matters worse, it is the individual who made the difference in bringing Buhari. Nigeria would have lived and flourished without Buhari until Tinubu came into this equation. Buhari had cried out to the world that that was it, he wasn't going to do this anymore. But without going into too much details, then how is he going to sustain his purpose? They have lived for 12 years from handouts from politicians. Without donations from politicians, he could not. Abacha was not around to give him PTF anymore. It is politicians who are giving donations in the nation. And that's how it came on. So Tinubu came and made the difference with 3 million votes. Added to the 15 million that Buhari had been carrying. Tinubu, who is responsible for serving Buhari on Nigeria, is now coming to say that he's going to continue with what Buhari has been doing. Isn't this a joke? That is the APC. I'll come back to that afterwards. PDP has failed to learn its lessons. His Excellency Peter Obi and I were both in PDP. I was contesting governorship in PDP, and the first thing I told them is that I'm not looking for a job with all honesty in Kaduna State. By Allah's grace, I have jobs to give out. I'm not looking for a job. In my living room, they were negotiating at what price to start with the deliveries. And then my phone rang, and I took an excuse to answer it in the bedroom, from where I wirelessly printed my withdrawal letter, brought it, I signed and sent it, and withdrew from that contest. Because never will I allow my name to be involved in buying delegates. It is one of the worst crimes. How can a party that is buying delegates come to fix Nigeria? And you're talking about big money. Big money. Both APC and PDP, any of those parties that are in our estimation, they are likely to spend about 3.8 trillion naira to the end of Supreme Court. What does that tell you? There will be no capital projects in Nigeria for at least 3 years, 3 months before election, because that money has to be paid back with interest, with profit, and they will have to adjust the value of the naira, and then they will have to keep from the 2027 elections. They will not have to touch from the current or the overhead to talk on capital. That including security. There will be not a single security equipment board. For election, only 9 months before I period. That is the danger of buying votes. That is the danger of buying delegates. His Excellency Peter Obi and my humble self are unapologetic. We will not buy votes. APC is declining by the day. Each community attacked, each person killed is a reduction in the votes of APC. Each person that becomes more aware is a reduction of votes of the APC, and this will continue. The Naira is now trading at 719. You can expect that by New Year, there will be massive
Sorry about that, please.
shortage of petroleum products until the prices are adjusted upward. So Nigerians should get ready for yet another price increase in petroleum products and all attendant impact on inflation. Insecurity is on the increase, so each time this happens, more votes of APC. APC is on the decline. Everybody can see. What they call structure is not structure. Because those people have money. How many money? I don't know. And the politicians that they call structure are not going to allow them to drive all our money. They are not going to allow them not to spend our money. If the master politician sees, for example, 50 politicians a day, each of those 50 politicians is saying a proposal of 15 million. That's why I told you it's 3.8 trillion naira. Some people say it is 6.5 trillion, but I think it's 3.8. There is no structure in APC in real terms. It is a group of people who are there to collect the money that should not be allowed to go. There is no structure in PDP. It is a group of people who are also taking the money away because they believe that money should not be there for them. What we call political structures today are actually harmful to the Nigerian society, and that is instructive for His Excellency Peter Obi, myself, and the Labour Party to avoid those. When we get to the polling booths and you don't see our agents, tell us we don't have structure. But I assure you that will happen. When people don't come out from the streets to hold the obedient movement on their own, tell us we don't have structure. The only real, genuine, people-oriented, goal-focused political party in Nigeria is the Labour Party, led by its candidate, Peter Obi. Thank you.
So now what I would quickly do is to go around and get somebody to ask a question.
Your Excellency,
the first is that in the light of the global crisis in relation to global warming, why have we not had anything from you, His Excellency, on what your true credentials are and how you position Nigeria to contribute positively to the reduction of global warming?
thank you so much. I will be taking the answers one by one.
Oh, okay.
I think justice to nation is better that way. There's something called priority. We believe in priorities. In one of the Zoom meetings I held, I ended up, in genuine laughter, but in pain. The lady was speaking to me about the need for more recreational gardens. And I broke down from laughter out of pain. My good friend, are you forgetting that right now there are getting 3 months. Are you aware of so many things that I need to tell you? Now, when you are in a ditch, what is the question? Come out of it. We want to come out of that. We want the killings to stop. The terror has been falling. We need to stop it. Corruption is like the boat is open for them to steal what they want to steal. We need to stop it. Then, remember, in the world order that we have today, there are more competent nations that are leading this fight on global. They are more competent, they are more resourceful, they are more knowledgeable than us in this. And they do not, most importantly, they don't have the kind of problems that we have. It now befalls on us to solve our problems. What are those? Insecurity, failing economy, disunity, corruption. Come back with respect to the nations. If we say there are certain things we cannot do for a greener world because of the reasons I've told you, for God's sake, those reasons will agree, pat us on the back, give us all the support we need to solve the problems of insecurity and things that are going to come back to it. I assure you that we have all the intentions to support the leading nations on a green world. We do have, but our priorities right now do not have to improve. Stop the killing, improve Nigerian security. Stop the stealing, improve Nigerian government finances. And then unite Nigerians. Once we are united, the sky is our limit.
Thank you.
Your Excellency. Yeah. I greet you too.
I have some clarification. But I will come forward on a question. I am the National Institution of Time. And the clarification I wanted to see if you can help us clear. Number one, you mentioned something about structure. The structure we are talking about, the money structure of all the political parties. But the real structure of going from local government to world to pulling units. That is the structure we wanted to define. I will not allow to train people to get to that point. Because I'm going to say there's no structure in Nigeria, there's money politics. Our principal said it too. I don't understand.
No. I didn't say that.
Yeah, he said that.
In those political parties.
No, I'm not talking about political parties. I mean the structure that we have when we are going to the election is the actual representation of our people and the polling units. You didn't say if you go there, if you did not see. But I want you to classify it as structure because we have structures.
Okay.
Thank you. Let me quickly pass it to the two of you, and then so we have to make a short here, about 5 minutes.
Sorry, we are blocking this.
There are two. One is the area of security, which man may know you are Balaam, but if you look at that, started combating the insecurity through education. Hardly can you find a northern graduate or even a Igbo man graduate being involved in all this type of banditry. So you started solving the problem of banditry and insecurity. My question is, how do you plan to educate that around, particularly, if I say this, I don't know, the Northerners will not criticize me, particularly in the Northern region. Because if you replicate what you are presently doing, which you tell us are going to do, you take all the Northern region. I can tell you this building will be used to be the second question, as how you're going to use the education to help insecurity. The second question is, the issue of tribe will play a big role. And why I say education phase is, you and I, we were possible together so that I know what you are doing and people you got from Nigeria graduate possible. The people we are going to talk to may not understand the issue of tribe the way people gathered in this room will understand it. So if they play tribe then without education, they may understand it differently. So how are you going to get good education down to those people? For them to be in the know that tribe, whether we like it or not, how to let them know how to handle it. Those are my big questions.
Let me quickly get Dr. Victor to show. His Excellency, we appreciate your time. And even being here before all of us. That shows that Nigeria, new Nigeria is going to be better in the event that it comes to 2023. My question is, talking about production, which we believe is what will take Nigeria to the promised land. And they're looking at the education system. And luckily, you have a university, the base university, that's doing so well. Is there any way your government of His Excellency and yours will look into vocational training in the educational sector as part of the curriculum, starting from primary school to university, so that people, when they graduate, could be empowered to become entrepreneurs and not waiting to be employed. The second question, if I'm allowed, looking at oil, I read one analysis where the amount we use as oil subsidy was more than enough to build refineries. That shows that even in 1 year we can build refineries. Is there something your government will look into in terms of either declaring state of emergency and allowing people in the mainstream and also in local areas to start with refining oil? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just quickly, we're going to get up with this. Are you able to hear him or you want to answer?
No, I can hear them. I can hear them, but I will remember the questions.
Okay.
I'll try to.
So let him go through the
Education.
yeah, this one.
The education one, I can show you that we're going to overhaul the entire curriculum, the entire system. But before we do that, we're going to return ASU fully and extract a 4-year commitment from them, and they extract commitment from us. Nobody will break that promise. We cannot stand an hour. No strike. self-employment oriented, not for the form of seek employment. You might have heard about my pyramid: basic literacy, enlightenment, basic literacy, awareness, enlightenment, education, and professionalism, and the gaps that exist. This is my own thesis, but I've been presenting it, I've been arguing it successfully. Every society that has some is like a very steep pyramid, some other countries it's a very shallow one. Some of them have funny shapes, like a pin at the center. We will restructure the entire educational system. But one thing that cuts across is that issue of our political and economic philosophy of procurement. We're procuring security, we're procuring education, we're procuring health. There shall be no waste. The corruption tide embedded in that system, we throw it out. We extract every inch of service from every billion naira we spend. So if we spend 2 trillion naira on security, you get 2 trillion naira worth of security. All the bandits will be flushed out, all the terrorists will be neutralized. You don't spend 2 trillion naira and you get 100 trillion naira worth of service. In the educational sector, you don't spend 1 trillion and get 10% service of that. Same thing everywhere. The roads that we construct, we will remove the elements because His Excellency Ijabi said, if everyone knows that the guy is not adding anything, nobody will add anything. We don't want anything from government except the development of Nigeria. We are not looking for money in the Nigerian government, I dare to say. We are looking to run the Nigerian government with lots of money. And when I start talking about this, I try to hold myself back. I'm not speaking for him personally, but Peter Obi has nothing in life that he's speaking for anymore. Materially, there's nothing in the Peter Obi that he doesn't have already. So thank God for that. He doesn't have that army of hangers on around him. Right? These are the things that destroy a whole country. I don't want anything from day one. Peter Obi doesn't want anything about it except our legitimate earnings, which of course goes to our family. That's it. Listen, we have all seen all forms of natural disaster. Fire, water, ice, wind, earthquake, mudquake, mudslides, nothing you have not seen. Where you have responsible leadership and good followership, what happens? Give them 6 months and they're back, better than before. I have seen countries without natural disasters, but with a man disaster. They have earthquake from the bombs that are blasting, from the bombs that are blowing. They have flood of human blood running in the streets. Just one person can destroy a whole country. I'm not lying. Look at the countries in the Middle East. You don't have to call them. In North Africa, Central Africa, in West Africa, what have we seen? One person can destroy a whole country. In the same way, one person can turn a country around. Right now, what I'll do, let me quickly just answer the. Okay.
Yeah, a good one.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Deputy,
Yes, sir.
after all said and done, election, everything, they have casted it, and they are about to announce P2B as the next president of Nigeria. Tinubu, through Buhari, back in the army, in their capacity, how are you going to handle the situation to avoid another catastrophe?
This question, one is not a group question. This question is a hypothetical question.
Yes.
And this question is a security one. Permit me not to discuss it with you. Let's discuss it with you and you. And anyway, let me tell you, there is nobody on doing television today like Buhari. And in Buhari's entire life, nobody has done Buhari like Tinubu has done. Buhari will never help a Tinubu in the way you're saying. Buhari has he knows himself and his family alone and that's it.
Okay.
He will never help anybody to the extent of what you say. This will anybody who knows Buhari. He knows this. Tinubu is on his own. He's fighting his battles. Buhari does not care.
Then congratulations, you have won.
Well, we never count we never take anything for granted. But thank you for the encouragement.
Thank you so much for your time this evening, sir. My question is, what advice would you give the people in the diaspora to merge together, since we can't vote, but we can also have a great impact in making sure that it's a successful outing in February?
Very intelligent question.
Say that I'm very excited this evening. That's what I'm happy to be here. This journey has started for some of us a long time ago, not just as it did for you. With the TED Force, we started, and today I'm very proud and happy to see the whole energy that was put together, metamorphosing into what we're experiencing in the Labour Party, presented by your humble self and Dr. Peter Obi. Mine also is to say that you shouldn't forget when you get in there, because by the grace of God Almighty, you will be there, that the women will not be left out, and the girl child education will be a key factor into the educational structure that you're going to build. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. My name is Emmanuel. I'm part of the Obedient Movement UK. I'm the coordinator of Open London. My question really is a policy issue. I was happy when you talked about the sustainable and environmental agenda that Nigeria has priorities. What are we going to do with our coal? Because we've been talking about generating energy for consumption. Currently, we generate less than 4,000 megawatts or whatever. What are the policies for the utilization of our coal? Because we have abundant coal reserve in Nigeria, especially in the east. We want you to tell us, if you haven't got one, we want you to take that on board and think seriously about it. Because South Africa, Australia, and China is actually now bringing back new coal generating plants. So what is Nigeria going to do in that area? Thank you.
No, somebody else. You've done before.
I think let's stick to
Okay, if you don't mind, just call for lady. Okay, my friend at the back. But just straight to the question, please. Oh, okay. And okay, zero, please.
3 ladies.
But the lady,
The question is not balanced. There's only one lady, so many gentlemen, so we have to have some more ladies.
Okay.
at the back.
Yes, I thought you use
What there?
the mic, sir.
Hi.
Mike. My name is David Princess Esumwa Aforizu. My father used to be the former Senate President of Nigeria and acting president during the coup. He was the person that handed over Tribal University during the First Republic. Please let me just say a few things. My son studied in a school in the Boys University, where the second set. And by the time, that was my last son, by the time he finished and came out, and when P2B picked you, because I don't want to ask you questions, because I have seen you in action. I've seen the university, I've seen the quality, I've seen the strictness, I've seen what you do. So I'm very much
Just push it.
my own is, the only thing I want to say is, as a person, I'm a PDP since DNA, since my life till now, I'm still a PDP person. But believe me, PDP or no PDP, we see you, I've seen you, I've seen P2B. Fortunately for me, I have had the experience of knowing who you are through your establishment. And knowing who P2B is because he's from my state. And then he's been our governor, and he has worked for us. We've seen what he has done. So I'm not thinking of what can you do and what you cannot do. So the only thing I want to say is, sir, there is something that's called psychopaths, those that put you where you're not. Please do not forget yourself when have measures of checking what you do and know whether you're doing it right. Because believe me, when you tell President Buhari that his government is not doing well, I saw it in him. I really pitied him. The time of primaries, his own people, his own party men were saying that there was no education, the education sector is not working, there's no security, there's no this, from the party members, and they said they're going to correct it. When they said that, he talks and look at them like, what is going on? Are you not, didn't we work? Which means he's not in touch with the people and doesn't know what is going on. Please, don't be a victim. I just want to tell you, when I see Peter, I'll also tell you, don't be a victim of people coming around you and saying you are the best in the world when nothing is happening. Please, do not forget where you started. And do not disappoint these people that are giving this over. They're not giving you the 1 naira. You didn't even campaign, they're campaigning for you. Because the youths are just campaigning. People are bringing their money and doing the opposite of what is happening in Nigeria. So it won't be nice if at last you forget where you come from and be disappointed. Thank you very much. My name is Dame Princess Esomwa Aforizu.
Good evening. My name is Nerima Wafuru. I'm an accountant by training, a chartered accountant by training, and currently with this company practicing. In this country, there is data, the country works on data. There is data, and the country works on data. I have 2 questions. What are the policies, or do you have a roadmap of collating data in the country government?
I don't want it too wide.
You said something, I believe you said something. He said something that the country will look for consumption to production. And you just mentioned this evening that you will bring a lot of self-employment plans, no matter how little, there are incentives. If you don't do that, there are so many things you won't get. Now, in Nigeria, there are no incentives, there are no policies to that. Are there plans in place to that effect? If you don't have any plans, what are they? We would like to know. That is one. Secondly, are there also policies in place to strengthen our institutions? Because we have institutions, but they are very weak. And if institutions are not functioning, then whatever you do, the public institution or whatever the structure will not work. Thank you very much.
You've asked before, he has to do.
Wow. I didn't remember all those questions. Honestly, because I didn't expect it. Okay, so I didn't notes of the question. I think I just wanted to say something. Oh, sorry, I'll choose.
Good evening, Excellency. My question is a little bit a funny and tricky one, which is that since Babangida regime stopped Nigerian Airways, I have come around politicians. I started during the late Yar'Adua's regime, and he promised these problems I'm talking about, electricity, the roads, and the most important thing where many countries have their revenue is airline. The big Nigerian Airways. When I was in secondary school, Nigerian captains were voted the best flight captains in the world many years, and we had so many airplanes. And since then, the only reason I joined politics was when Yar'Adua said one of his problems was going to be bring back Nigerian Airways to life. Bring electricity. It was one of his 7-point agendas, if anyone could remember that time. But all these presidents coming, PDP, APC, and whatever, nobody has ever dreamed of giving Nigeria Airways. Is it one of the things in your plan that this is very important to generate income to Nigeria? Thank you very much.
No, Obi answered that last.
You did?
Yeah, he said no. He said they're going to privatize it. Yeah, he said no.
My name is Ebelodi, and I know you said straight to questions, so I'll say congratulations and thank you for taking on this opportunity, because the task you and His Excellency have agreed to take on is not enviable at all, but I wish you all the best. I was listening to the last man's question. I think His Excellency has answered that question in the forum, where he said that that wouldn't be the dream of the regime at all, because most of people who are in the aviation sector actually know aviation currently doesn't make much money. People are just meant to survive. So His Excellency has actually said he has no plans. If anything, there should be private people coming to run Western. Because even in the UK, British Airways is not run by the government. Mine is a security question, I have to say it ahead of time. I was happy when Mr. Rizzo talked. I think I'm glad of the person of your character. So I'm not in doubt. I know His Excellency as well as to what you guys will do. But my only fear is, on the election day, what is the plan of Labour to make sure that there is no cyber attack? You know what I mean? Because I think that's the only thing they will do. Because if the result is announced, nobody will do anything as far as I feel, because they know what the youth can do. But if
been manipulating before it comes out. What's the plan? Thank you, sir.
That's okay. That's okay. No.
Yes. Okay, thank you for the opportunity. One last lady. There was first lady, so this is last lady. Your Excellency and my fellow brethren, you are all welcome to this occasion. I'm just going to recap all that has been said here. Your Excellency, what is the position of social contract in Nigeria between the leadership and the citizenship? The citizenry. We would like to know that, and why diaspora engagement at this point in time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The social contract is to answer the key leadership question. Are you able to say what is right? When you say what is right, are you able to do what you are saying? That is reflective of what my brother mentioned. When I was asked about security, every politician comes out to talk. To the extent that the art of talking has been equated with expertise in politics, which is wrong in itself. You see, the best leader is not the best entertainer. Otherwise, Hollywood, otherwise, the best leader is people who is able to take their decision. We are in place to implement the decisions that are in the interest of our dear country. The social contract are our political principles, economic doctrines, prevent waste, turn Nigeria from consumption to production, eliminate corruption. In so doing, the government agencies, my friend, all government agencies, the moment you remove waste, eliminate corruption, they by default have started working. Once we move these two, Nigerian government agencies are working. The Nigerian Army is having its equipment, is having its remuneration, is having its recurrent expenses all the way down to the ammunitions and welfare of soldiers at the front line. The Nigerian police are having their front line constable, well stocked, well trained, well fed, simply removing corruption and waste in the system. These are none of our social contracts. Immediately, we want to stop the killings. We want to stop the attacks. Immediately, it's non-negotiable. Immediately, we want to stop the fall of the Naira and reclassify the Naira as an appreciating currency. Immediately, we want to get it across our records that no more stealing free and no free. You can no longer steal Nigerian money. If you get to do it, we will catch you. We will catch you. Justice will be served. Immediately, all the wastes are being ended. Now it's about time. I'm sorry I've not been able to answer all the questions. My good friend, coal, sir, Nigerian Airways, please all fall under the general principles of what we do. We want the private sector to lead the economy. Those that are existing will find every possible way to promote them. Sir, coal. I go back to the earlier answer that I gave. We want to restore security, improve the economy immediately through oil, stopping the oil theft, trapping all our revenue, opening new channels, improving those channels of revenue, attracting foreign investment, particularly from our diaspora. It's not the British or the Americans to bring or the Arabs to bring their money. It's Nigerians to bring the money and develop Nigeria. These are our immediate preoccupations. Now, I don't just see anything to get power. I see what I can do. And thank you, Madam Dean. This is why you begin to know the difference between who means business and who does not mean business. I have had to pay price for saying things I cannot do. I'm sorry, sir. I can't do this and this. How dare you tell me you can't do it when you're a politician? Yes, I'm sorry because I'm not an all-rounder. There are many things I will not be able to do. We want to be able to reach goal. We will provide security. The economy will improve. We'll improve the Naira, stop it small and all those things. We are concerned about securing Nigeria, ending the corruption and uniting these people. Never shall we sit and someone is telling me, Peter Obi from Anambra, you are from Vietnam. You are a Muslim, Christian, you are Muslim ticket, Christian ticket. No. We have to be united people. Because when you're disunited, you cannot achieve anything. In fact, the corruption is directly tied to this disunity. Because the people now are thinking it's our time. Because when it was their time, they were corrupted. That is why another gentleman is saying this is one time. Look, he was a governor. It's not being changed. A very, very simple man. I was a senator. Sometimes I sit in the area of Mountain Island. You see? When you know, with shines and everything. But now I show you what I was saying. We don't even have them around us. We select our friends carefully. We select our associates professionally. So entertain no fears. If we were going to change, we would have changed before now. So people would prefer to be governors than to be presidents because you are alpha and can do practically anything you want in Nigeria as a governor. Peter Obi did not do that. So if he was ever going to change, he would have changed. He would have said, at the good age of 61, there is nothing like it. If I was going to change, I would have changed by now. It brings me to a point where I would like to say, maybe I should just ask a question or two.
Okay.
I want to ask a question.
Oh, sorry. I was going to answer.
That's all right.
Are you going to vote? Are you going to vote?
We want to answer. We really want to. Why the Torah engagement? That question has other countries. Even Kenya. Come on, Kenya. Kenya.
There isn't one answer. Some people will tell you a small percentage will come.
Yes.
Others will say we'll support, others will say we'll motivate, others will say we'll organize. Up to 99, I was in the UK. Good job, good house, I could get a second job. And I stood up one morning, prayed, and I said, I'm going back to Nigeria. It happens to be one of the very best decisions I took in my life. Nigerian diasporas, believe me, there is no country on earth like Nigeria. There is no country so good to its people, good to foreigners on earth like Nigerians. If you don't come to vote, help in organizing, help in motivating, help in whatever way you can. I think if Nigeria gets it wrong this time around, I think we're finished. Everything in life has a breaking point.
Yes.
Has a breaking point. It's medically, you know there is a certain temperature that the human body, when you have a fever, it can take. Beyond what you know that individual will die. Nigeria has a very high fever right now. Very, very high fever. The temperature needs to start coming down. It should start by the day you have responsible leadership.
Thank you very much. A worthy interaction. The senator has been here much longer, but it is good that he has interacted and had conversation with leaders of various groups that represent different groups under the team for 2023, and hopefully there will be more interaction with other people when they come down to London for the benefit of the Nigerians and diaspora organization. I have my standards and I have experienced quite a lot, but once again, please don't be even around and everybody sit where they are.
You forget that I will sit. I will sit.
Oh, you sit.
I will sit. Bring your camera. Let me sit. Hold on.
You want to use this one?
I want to sit down.
Yeah, go on.
Here, here.
Go on. I'll send it to you. Is that your husband? Go on.
I am not complaining.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.